Hello all, I've collected way more data and information to share with you on increased rarity. First though, I want to clear up some confusion surrounding the test. And if you haven't already, you can see how I conducted the test in my last video, which I'll link in the description below. Number 1. How did I remove map mechanics and tablet modifiers? First I added any waystone into the map, and then traversed it. And then I reopened the map, adding my tier 15 white waystone. This map now has no tablet modifiers or extra mechanics. Second, to be clear, I ran the identical set of maps for each test. So for example, the first map I tested was Hive. I then found 4 more hives in order to do my other 4 tests. The third thing I'd like to clarify is the rarity on gear additive or multiplicative to the map increased rarity, which includes the Atlas skill bonuses? My current belief is that they are indeed multiplied by each other, which I'll show you why I came to that conclusion shortly. But first, we have some feedback from
mostGeniusInterneter. Your data is completely useless. You need way more than 80 maps of data. I know for sure that rarity makes currency rain from the sky.
I mean, that's a fair take. We do need more data to give us more insight into the stat. I'm actually working on getting more data right now. I'm curious though, how are you so confident on how rarity works?
Well, my wife's wedding planner told me he got 3 divines after he put on 300% rarity on a fully juiced map.
Are you suggesting that anecdotal evidence on one map is more reliable?
No, you are an anecdotal. Also, I heard from my dog walker's boyfriend that these streamers like Fubgun and Empyriangaming are stacking rarity and printing 1000s of divines. Your data is useless. You gotta stack it more.
Alright, let's see what Empyriangaming has to say. Wrong info. I'm running tier 13 to 15 maps and currently finding 10 divines over a 10-hour session with the fastest build in the game, not 10 divines per map. 10 divines per 25 to 30 of the juiciest maps you could make? I wonder where this misunderstanding came from.
It's on my screen.
Yeah, I'm mousing over every bounce.
10!
Divine! What?
Wait, what? These guys all think this is PoE too? Because the YouTube Shorts algorithm just, scrolling, and they think this is PoE too. This is a 1-year-old clip from PoE 1. You can't even do this in PoE 1 anymore. Oh my god.
Okay, well, let's check in on Fubgun.
The increased rarity of items found, as I've been saying, we're finding out more and more info about rarity, and in fact, rarity is really not that useful past like 200%. This also includes map rarity. The map rarity really isn't all that impactful. I've done like 300, 400% rarity maps, and it turns out they actually aren't even that impactful if you already have rarity in your character.
Well, moving on, let's go back to the topic of gear increased rarity and its interaction with map increased rarity. Rarity comes in 2 flavors. One is from the gear on your character, which you can see by opening up your skills, clicking this arrow, and scrolling down to the on kill effects. As you can see here, in this example, I have plus 100% increased rarity on my character. The other flavor I will call map increased rarity, which you can see while you're in a map by expanding the map and looking on the right side. Here I have 26% increased map rarity, which is coming from my Atlas tree. Now there's 2 big reasons why I now believe that these 2 numbers are multiplied together. The first is an interview Jonathan gave before the game was released.
Is rarity multiplicative or additive with map/monster rarity?
So player rarity is player rarity is multiplicative with the map rarity, yeah. Okay. So that's still the case.
I also had an idea to be absolutely sure this was the case by using the item Venter's Gamble Gold Ring. This ring allows you to go into the negative rarity, which I thought would be interesting to use for testing, so I bought 2 of them. Increasing this further with the Belt of Ingenuity, I was able to get to negative 129% increased rarity on my character. Now, diving into 10 maps using this, I discovered that no rare items drop. And as for currency, from all the currencies in this top section here, I have only seen transmutation and augmentation drop after doing 10 maps and 7 breaches, which I will utilize this fact later when I go over the results of my 250 map test. So, my idea is that if a character and map rarity are multiplicative, then, if I go into a map with over 200% map rarity, I shouldn't see any of these higher currencies or any rare items drop. And so I did a map that had plus 286% increased map rarity and a breach. And as you can see, no rare items drop and none of the higher currencies drop. Now note, 1 rare item does come out of a clasped hand, but that works more like a chest and the rarity does not impact it. Next, let's dive into some data. First, as a follow-up from the last video, I averaged out 250 item mod tiers from the 0 rarity gear and compared it to 250 item mod tiers from the 300 rarity gear tests, and I found that the average was nearly identical, so I'm assuming rarity does not impact this. As for item level, it's based on the monster level and monster rarity, so nothing to report there. As for the tests themselves, I conducted them in the same way, but expanded each to be 50 maps, and also added another test for 50 increased rarity on gear, for a total of 250 map tests. I have all of this data in a Google Sheet now, so you can feel free to review it yourself. As you can see, I've corrected the total rarity value for each test by multiplying the gear and map values. I also no longer tracked gold or regular rare items, as it was slowing me down too much, and I wanted to prioritize map volume. Even with these speed increases, this test expansion took me 4 days of nearly non-stop testing. As with last time, the currencies like transmutation and augmentation did not vary much between the 5 tests. As you recall, these dropped even with negative 129% rarity. These currencies below I marked in yellow did not. We can safely assume that the drop chance on these currencies is dependent on increased rarity. I'm going to refer to these as the rarity currencies. Now individually, not that many drop, so it's hard to make definitive statements on a per currency basis. But that changes when you add these amounts together into a rarity currency total. I added these currency amounts up and also calculated a 95% confidence interval, which is represented by the white line in this graph here. The amount of rarity currency drops increases moderately up to the 150 total rarity mark, and then it really flattens out. While it's true we can't say whether or not divines drop in the same pattern, until I see evidence saying otherwise, I'm personally going to aim for around 150 total increased rarity for now. Now you may be thinking that seems like a lot, but keep in mind this is total rarity and not character rarity. Let's say you have 26% rarity from your atlas and 24% from tablets in the area. This would put your maps at 50% rarity. Combining this with 70% rarity on your gear will put you at a total of 155% total increased rarity. Now from my experience, a lot of people don't want to do math, so I made a total rarity calculator on my Google Sheet. Just make a copy of the sheet and you can use it yourself. Lastly, we have our tier 2 or higher rare items and uniques. Again, not enough drop to say definitively how these relate to rarity, but the amount doesn't seem to increase that much after the 89% total rarity test. I felt my mental slowly descending into darkness while doing these 250 tests, so I'm not planning to expand this particular dataset anytime soon. I'm currently pondering alternative testing ideas for testing the upper 800 to 1000% rarity range. Also, I've had a lot of people ask me about my builds, so I'll post a quick guide on that sometime soon. If you found this useful, you can help me out with the algorithm in the usual ways. Thanks for watching.